Hi, my name is Josh Brittain. You're watching Beaver Blasters TV, and this is 10 Questions.
What's up?
What's up?
How are you?
Great, you?
Yeah, I don't know how to start interviews, so. Okay, so let's start with the questions here. So what's one thing, good or bad, that people may not know about being a hockey player, a pro hockey player?
The great thing about being a hockey player is obviously the lifestyle. You know, I get to do what I love for a living. So I'm heading into year 14 now professionally, which is something that I'm really proud of and something I really enjoy. Something that a lot of people don't know about professional hockey is, the grind of how much work it takes to be at the top of your game, and also just, how much it takes out of you, every single season.
Favorite city you've represented?
And I'm going to take it a little step further and go for country, Team Canada. I ended up winning gold in Russia for Team Canada. It's probably one of my fondest hockey memories, just basically because of the way the game played out and the atmosphere in the arena. Having those fans at the start of the game, cheering against you. Every time you touched the puck, it was like electric in the building. And, towards the end of the game, they actually turned on Russia and they were cheering for us towards the end of the game because we beat them 8-0 in the gold medal game. So it was one of those cool experiences that probably only happens once in your life, and that's a memory that I'll have forever.
Actually, I'm gonna write down who I think you're gonna answer for this.
Okay.
See if I get this right. So you play with a bunch of players in your time, but who's the best player you ever played with?
I don't know. That's a hard one. So many great players. I would probably say Teemu Selanne.
Oh wow. When'd you play with him?
I got to play with him at Ducks camp.
Oh, yeah.
And I never actually got to play an NHL game, but I played a couple preseason games. And just being around guys like Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaff, Teemu Selanne, Scott Niedermayer, and just seeing how good those guys are, and how hard they work to master their craft, is really inspiring. And he was the kind of guy who was intoxicating to be around.
That's awesome. So that was not the answer I had in mind. I had Tyler Seguin.
Nice. I was gonna say him too. Yeah. He was who first came to mind. He's the kind of guy who's just so naturally talented. He's just so naturally gifted. And he's a great player, and I definitely learned a lot from him too.
You got drafted 71st overall in 2008 by the Anaheim Ducks. Just talk about that experience in general. Did you go to the draft? Did you have those weird interview questions? Do you think there's another team that's going to pick you? How did that all go down?
I actually had a slow start to my draft season, and towards Christmas time, I ended up having a breakout second half of the year. And I think, because of my size, I was given the benefit of the doubt. A lot of people, when you're a young age, they kind of draft you based on your projection of where you're going to be. So I had a good enough season to where I think I showed that, I had some potential to be an NHL player. But the funny part of the draft story is, I had been in the rankings to be drafted, and I talked to my agent before the draft, and they said, hey, we don't recommend that you come this year to the draft. And ironically enough, it was in Ottawa, and that was close enough to Toronto where we talked it over as a family with my parents, and they said, you know what? This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Let's just go and let's just see what happens. We took the chance to go, and on the second day, I got to be drafted. I got to go and do the full TV interview, which not every prospect got to do. For whatever reason, I just was able to do the whole interview on stage with the two guys, up there, and it was, really special. Got to come home, and all my friends got to see that interview and stuff like that, and that was a risk that we took back then, and it paid off, and I'm really glad that I made the decision to go, and it ended up working out great. So.
What's one funny? Jesus Christ. What's one funny hockey memory that stands out for you?
My first year of professional hockey, I was in the East Coast Hockey League, and I remember being a rookie. We had a 30-hour bus trip I think down to like Las Vegas or something like that. And I ended up having to sleep at the front of the bus. I didn't get a bunk. I had an unfoldable chair, like keeping my hips up in between where like the lounge area was and the other side of like the seat. And the AC was broke on the bus as well. So it made for a really interesting first year. It was a big wake-up call for me to realize that you know, when you go down to some of the lower leagues, you know, things aren't as glamorous as you know, as they're maybe projected to be.
What hobbies do you do away from the rink?
Some of my hobbies are music. I've definitely taken a keen interest to you know, following the local music scene here in Ottawa. And I've also, you know, started recording some stuff, and you know, I just like have always enjoyed playing music. It's something that I really enjoy, especially during the hockey season when times get tough, or you know, sometimes you get down. I find picking up a guitar is the best way to lift my mood and put me in a better headspace and just kind of forget about what's going on around me. So I'm really hoping in the future to maybe release some music. But again, it just takes time, and you know, you got to master your craft, and you know, I really enjoy it. So.
Had a bunch of fights throughout your career. Who's the toughest guy you ever fought against?
Ooh. The toughest guy that I fought has probably been Mark Borowecki. That was one where I instantly grabbed him, and I, you know, knew that I was in over my head. He's just such a big lad. He's strong. Another one that comes to mind is Pierre-Luc Letourneau Leblanc. You know, I was actually doing pretty well as like a young kid. It was actually a second fight in, so there was 2 fights going on as I grabbed him, which resulted in me getting suspended for that. But I was doing pretty well, and I decided to switch to my left hand, and he came across and just clocked me in the nose. That was one of those moments where I knew right away that I was in over my head. So,
what's a healthy warning you'd give to kids who are aspiring to be pro players?
I would say that if you want to be a professional hockey player, you got to really be you know, dedicated and committed, but also realize that, you know, you're going to be going through some difficult times, and you have to be mentally strong.
What's your favorite hockey memory of all time?
I think my favorite hockey memory of all time would be winning a championship in Slovakia. You know, winning, obviously, like there's no better feeling than that, right? Like the feeling of elation and just like on top of the world for the amount of effort that you put in for the entire duration of the summer and the season, to have that all like pay off in one moment. It's like, you know, there's like no better feeling than that.
Through your experience, what's some non-cliche advice you give to hockey players?
Make sacrifices. I think if you want to be at any particular point of the highest level of anything, you have to make sacrifices, whether that's friendships, you know, time at parties. Just make those sacrifices now, and you know, you'll just hope that in the long run that those will pay off.